Welcome to Mark My Words, a show that searches for the fork in the road in life, the place where the turning point in the journey of entrepreneurship and life can be found. Let's meet each other at the crossroads on Mark My Words. So it seems like there's been a few trends on Mark My Words in 2025. AI is a trend. Sustainability has been a trend. Generation Z has also been a trend. And I'd love to say that AI and sustainability are the things I'm most impressed with, but that's not even the thing I'm most impressed with. It's Generation Z and the intelligence, the insight, and the creativity. All of these amazing things have been coming out in these episodes, and I'm expecting nothing any different with Amory Csiky Alvarez today. He is building forest delivery to help fashion brands build an environmentally positive reputation that drives sales and actually makes a better world, a platform that helps them automatically plant trees for every product sold. He has a lot of passion for fashion brands, baby fashion brands, and the environment. And he is here on Mark My Words, the founder and CEO of Forest Delivery. Amory, how you doing today?
Man, I'm doing absolutely amazing. This is going to be a freaking amazing show.
I have a feeling already. We were talking a little bit before we started, and just the fact of hearing somebody is like 18, 19. I've had quite a few people within that age range this year. And I know for some people that might like evoke certain like opinions or emotions. But for me, it's like I'm doing the flex that you've been doing this whole time. Like I'm stoked to have the younger generation on here because I personally, while I feel at 46, I'm doing this show, I'm talking to people like you, I feel like I'm staying relevant, at least mentally, as far as what's going on. But it's different when you are actually a part of that age group and that generation. And to just live through you, to have a few minutes to live through you and see the world through your eyes is actually very inspiring and exciting to me. So I appreciate you for putting up with technical difficulties and showing up and having such an amazing attitude.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. It's all a question of perspectives. Whether you see someone young my age as, yeah, they're just starting life, they don't know anything, or you who's a flex and you'll see it as an opportunity. Fortunately, I look a bit older than my age, so people take me a bit more seriously. So that's cool.
Yeah,
But
I had a guest a few weeks ago who, if they didn't tell me they were 19, I would not have thought they were 19. Like they carried themselves with a certain maturity. They were super intelligent, and I see it with you too. I'm like, I did not that I was a total like wimp and completely down on myself, but I did not have like the confidence and the aura that some of you guys have. Like I'm just truly
or
impressed.
or a farming outfit.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I obviously don't know how you were at my age, but it's yeah. I suppose it's a question of interests. What like most people my age, they're interested in girls, partying, traveling, and so that's what they are most knowledgeable about. But I am interested, in business, entrepreneurship, personal development, sustainability, fashion, etc. And that's why I'm more knowledgeable on those things. So Absolutely.
It, it's also a different world because
Yeah.
when I was growing up, when I was your age, it was 1997, and my mindset, because of just how the world was, it was like you gotta get a college degree, you gotta get a
Hmm.
good job coming
Very
out of
good.
college,
Yeah.
you gotta climb the corporate ladder. There were all these things that you felt like you had to do. There was like a certain structure, and if you didn't go to college, well, then you got to get a trade, you got to do this, that, and the other thing. It's not like today where it's like, something, college is great, having a trade or whatever is great, but I actually have the ideas now and I have the tools right now to go out there and put myself out there and make it happen, which I feel like people like you, that's exactly what you're doing.
Yeah, that's really a really amazing point. Before, it was really, let's say, programmed into our mind that you had to get a college degree in order to be successful in life. And to a certain degree, it was. You could become a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, and that paid well. You had a comfortable, happy family life, etc. Today, that still remains an option, as you said, but you have so much more. Like I dropped out of like a long time ago. Quick story short, long story short, I put the ping pong table on fire, so I got expelled. And since then, I realized I had to become my own master in life. I was 100% responsible for what I'm going to happen. So I started entrepreneurship. And probably you want something similar. You don't want to necessarily depend on a boss so that he tells you what to do, what to do. You want to earn your own money, just be independent, not have someone superior to you dictate what you're gonna do. You're gonna be here at 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. No, 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 I
Well,
don't want.
I'll have to tell you at the end what I do for a day job, but
I, I'm,
I,
I'm,
I, I what's that?
I'm interested. What is it?
Oh, well, it's a pretty big organization. I try not to say what it is while I'm recording, but I'll call you later. So basically,
Secret
I
agent,
work.
is it?
What? Secret agent? How did you
Yeah,
know? Although if
there
I
you
am a
go.
secret agent, I'm not supposed to tell anybody. But but I've been so I've always had a passion for television. So I've been working in the television industry for the past
Okay.
20 years, and I've done some really cool things. I've had some really cool jobs, and it's great work. And I'm in a place today where I have a ton of autonomy with like my office hours and things like that. So I have a really good situation today, and it's not necessarily to answer your question. So, obviously, I would love to have a lot more autonomy and independence and freedom and all those things. But I also have a pretty darn good like day job in my pocket. And once I tell you and explain it, once we stop recording, you'll kind of understand why I managed everything the way I do now. But yeah, definitely the ultimate goal is not only build myself up, but to also get my own message out there. There's a lot of things that I held back on for years as far as telling my story and, just imposter syndrome, which uh, I should never assume that just because you're 18 and super confident and doing amazing things, that you don't battle imposter syndrome, because I think we all do in some way. But you're definitely off to a good start, Amory, let me tell you. So just a lot of battles with stuff like that. I kind of like held myself back, and then over the years just built up more and more confidence, got more and more support, and now I'm here today really trying to not only create my own life, but to also put my own message out there, which I know is what you're
Which is
trying to do as well.
what is your message? What do you want to communicate through these episodes?
Um, So I just want people to listen to an episode, whether it's addressed or not. So I was born with a syndrome. It was like, as I always say, it's a package deal. Um, yeah, and it's that's kind of the way
That's
I
a
put
cool
it.
way. That's cool. Yeah.
Had to cough there for a second, but
Yeah.
I so cleft lip and palate is like one of the things. There's a lot of other things that go with it, but I just basically want people to watch or listen to the episodes and say, you know what, this guy has had a lot of obstacles in their life, and you know they're not letting like the way they sound when they talk or whatever, they're not letting any of that stuff hold them back, and they're doing this show and they're putting themselves out there. Whether I'm doing it stupidly or inspirational, I don't really know, but I just want people to walk away and remember that, because there's a lot of people who like they have everything that they need in life. They are not born with any issues, like you know everybody's got something going on in their life.
Yeah, I think so. We're all a
um
bit weird on the side.
but I just from that perspective, it's like a lot I meet a lot of people who, you know, don't have to battle the same fights that I've had to fight in my life, and they're still doubting themselves. Like I can't uh I can't create a podcast, or I can't speak, or I can't go live on TikTok or whatever it is because of the way I look or the way I sound. And it
Mm,
drives me crazy. I'm like, oh my
mm,
gosh, you sound
great.
great, or why are you holding yourself back? So
And
I'm
then they'll
hoping
be full of regret at the end of their life, and it's
exactly,
that's really inspiring, because the reasons why you tell you shouldn't be doing it are probably the exact reasons why you should do it. And
exactly,
you like I have some friends who have different disabilities, and they tell, well, I can't do it because X, Y, and Z. Okay, I have a carrot eating disorder. And I tell them, well, imagine you have all of the all of the negative stuff, all of life giving you all of the bullshit, all of the shit, pushing you, keeping all of the odds of success. Wait, let me reframe this. Imagine life gives you all of the obstacles to success, and other people have a easier way to getting there. Will you let life dictate the rest of your life, or will you then as well, even if all of the odds are against you, still fight? Will you continue fighting and prove life that, listen, okay, you have this against me, but I'm still going to prove that I'm going to
exactly. And that's the kind of thing that I want to teach people. And
win?
that's exactly, I mean, I have many reasons why I do this
Yeah.
show. I mean, one of the reasons that I do this show is because I was I got the support that I really needed when I needed it the most, because I had a job for 10 years that I left. They are, to this day, they're still reorganizing. I can tell you
Mm,
some of that once we hit stop as well. But
sure.
I decided to take like their buyout package, which was a nice package, and I decided to put myself out there and just see what else was going on in the world. And I was kind of hoping to keep like climbing the corporate ladder, maybe with somebody
Mm,
else. And it didn't really like work out that way. I wound up just doing operational, like freelancing type of work and stuff like that. And
mm,
I found that I wasn't feeling like fulfilled, because I went from being like in lower middle management to just like going back to doing like quality control on television shows, which is fun work. Don't get me wrong, it's a lot of fun.
now you
But
told me what to do.
yeah, I've already kind of like taken that leap into the
Mm,
next level. and now I was taking a step back. So I was looking to do something that was more fulfilling. And that's when I started going to networking events, meeting people who were supporting me, meeting people who said, you should make content. And I'm just like, who the hell wants to listen to me? And I'm like, well, if this super smart person, they see something in me, they want to see me do something, then all right, I'll give it a shot. And, your confidence starts to build. You start doing it more. You become better at it. One thing leads to another. And then the next thing you know, you're 100 some episodes into a podcast called Mark My Words.
Congratulations, man.
I
Congratulations.
appreciate you.
Yeah, and
So,
even that the key point you just said there, that you gave it a shot, you didn't know what you were gonna get out of it, and you got all of these skills in return. Even if we may measure at the beginning of our journey just the end result as money. For the moment, making money or not, I'm still not at my goal. But if you measure your results not only in terms of money, but in terms of knowing how to speak better, knowing how to organize your day better, knowing how to communicate and understand people's psychology better, it completely rewires how your brain gets rewarded, and you will continue on the long term instead of, oh, I didn't make 10K this month, well, I'm going to stop because it doesn't work. you
yeah,
you have to reward your brain by the things that it gets now.
I love it. I love the way you look at this. See, I knew that there was a payoff by me listening to your content and causing the audio to get jacked up last week because as I was watching all that, getting ready for you to come into the session, I was just like, boy, this guy is really, really like wise beyond their years. So
Thank
uh,
you.
there was definitely a payoff.
Actually, I'm
For,
150 years old.
you might be. Hey, I
Yeah,
don't want to turn this into like a metaphysical kind of
yeah.
show here, but I definitely believe in that kind of thing. And
Yeah.
you know,
Souls, all the souls, maybe.
you might be. Hey, but I'm better off not getting into that because
So
we'll
we're
talk.
gonna lose a big part of the audience if we get into that, maybe.
We will talk about that the rest of the time. What we should talk about is you mentioned something about getting expelled. A, what did you get expelled for? And B, did that was that like the catalyst for you
Absolutely.
to say, you know what, I want to be an entrepreneur? Tell the story.
I was in national education in France. This was the college, so I was around 16 years old. Okay, and I, because from my early stages, I was in the Waldorf school, which is very differently educated. We go in the forest, we build our own tools, we cook together, etc. Going to the national educational system, I was like, you tell me to sit down? Who the heck are you? I don't know you. You try to educate me. It didn't make any sense to me that's how this worked and why we were learning. Some dude who died 300 years ago, why does it make any sense today? And so the only thing that amused me was me and my friend either um, hopping out of school and just I don't know the exact term, just running away, but or doing stupid shit like fire alarms, etc. But one day I was getting on the bus, and next to the bus stop, I saw this big bidon of petrol. Okay, and me, in the youth, kind of TikTok brain, what's happening? I just took a bottle full of it and just put it in my bag. Didn't second guess any of it. Just went, put my music in, and the day goes on, and it's a sunny day. We go into the court, the yard, and there is this ping pong table, and I have a lighter on me. And I say, oh, well, what a great idea would it be if I light the ping pong table on fire? There is no logical reason behind it. I totally agree with you. So, I light it on fire, and first of all, I realized what I just did. Oh, well, this fire, it's who's going to see this? So I quickly try and turn it off. But there was a little guy, so much more than me, who snitched. Okay, went and told. By the way, thank that guy. But he went and told the adults, and we had a big reunion. All of the different professors voted whether I get expelled or not. I was happy because I got expelled, but the thing was that I realized, okay, now the educational system doesn't have my back. So I have to actually do something with my life, or I'm just going to get eaten. I realized that I'm 100% responsible for my life, and for the good and the bad. That gives you so much power that you realize that you are the true actor of where your life goes. Um, and I started looking videos, yeah, how to make money online, Iman Gaji, Alex Hormozy. I started reading self-improvement books, and I realized, well, actually, I don't want to work for someone else's dream. And so I started fidgeting with ideas. What should I do? I want to become independent, make a better world. Those were my two primary drivers, motivation drivers. And I realized, well, wait, why don't I help baby fashion brands plant a tree for every product sold? It didn't come so easily as a action plan, but that's all of the mumbling around, looking YouTube videos. That's what came up at the end, and that's what I'm building currently right now. It's not yet a success story. That's what I'm building.
That's amazing. I mean, you and I, as different as we are, we're also very similar. When I hear your story and so many of the other entrepreneurial stories, I feel like we're just all like minded in this like one way that I don't even know if I can really like define or describe. I've
Yeah.
attempted in numerous episodes to really like pinpoint it, but we all just have this need to be our own person and be resourceful and to
Our full
create
potential.
our
Yeah.
own life. And it doesn't matter if you're burning ping pong tables and getting expelled, or if you're a goody two shoes like me, who
Mm.
probably would not even be here today if I did what you did. I'm sure my parents would. I don't even know what they would have
We are
done.
built different, my friend. We are built
Yeah,
different.
we're all built differently, but there's like a certain mindset that we all
Yeah.
have. And who knows, I may like write a book or something on it someday because it's just, yeah, I
Yeah.
know. I just
Hell
thought of that right here, right now. I'm like, that's a book idea right
Hell yeah.
there. But
Where does the entrepreneurial spirit come from? The true,
yeah,
the true.
boom, there you go. I mean, I'll have you write the foreword or whatever in the beginning.
Hmm.
But no,
What do you think?
really.
What do you think about using AI for writing or sending emails or creating content? I'm curious about your opinion about
So I've had a lot of people on this show this year who really opened my eyes to AI. I actually just did, not to toot my own horn and promote other things I'm doing, but I just
that. Okay.
did a solo episode talking about the impact that everybody has had on me as far as AI. I almost feel like this should be a drinking game, this show. Every episode that somebody mentions I need to like drink a bottle of wine or something because it's
Yeah.
like
The, the,
everybody.
the,
It seems like AI has been like a big theme of this show in 2025. To answer your question, I need more education, but the little bit that I played around with it, it's amazing. Like I can see why people are using it. I need to get better at it and better educated because I think it's a good delegation tool because as an entrepreneur, your instinct, especially if you have the mindset that you and I have, your instinct, especially in the beginning, is how am I going to do it? How am I going to create this? How am I going to write this? How am I going to do this, that, and the other thing? And your mindset may not be to delegate to a person because you might not have the resources yet. And I think that's where AI can be really helpful to entrepreneurs. And I love it. I just need to learn more and get better educated.
Yeah, that's those are good points. It's true that in entrepreneurship we say, "Oh, I'm gonna figure it out," but alone you can only achieve as far. But you even if you know that you need to delegate, you'll say, "Well, I don't have any money to get someone on board." So what you can do is train ChatGPT about your mission, what's the struggles, etc. And because it's a so big database, it will be a kind of assistant, an assistant that will facilitate the steps towards success. Uh, but I still think that in terms of content creation or writing, that you have to learn to write content without AI before using it. Because you will use AI, create me, I don't know, this LinkedIn post or whatever, and you won't see any flaws in it because you haven't written successful posts in the past. So it's just because if you know how to write successful posts, you'll know how to ask the correct prompt to ChatGPT that will give you the right answer. Don't
I
you feel
will.
like ChatGPT and all of these AIs still have a bigger of hype than actual value? Like it's more of a hype than actual intelligence, because AI is not actually intelligence. It's just putting logical words one after the other from a big database, but it doesn't have any actual consciousness of, well, um, this makes more sense even though it's not logical because da 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 da. So yeah, I
We
think it's gonna get better and better. We're only at the beginning of it.
I agree. I think we have a long way to go with it, but it's very exciting to see how it's evolving and more how it's becoming a part of everybody's like thought process with their business and what they're trying to achieve. And I don't know how familiar as an 18-year-old, and not to judge, being young, because I do know a lot of young people are very into the 70s Swedish super pop group ABBA, who I am a humongous fan of. I've been a fan since 1982. I was like 3 years old. My parents had an 8
Okay.
track that they were bumping to all around Pennsylvania where I grew up. And I
Mm.
was a huge ABBA fan and still am. I'm actually waiting for 50th anniversary vinyl 45 set to come in the mail soon. Like I said, I'm a huge fan. But one of the members, there's a point to this. One of the members, Bjorn Alvarez, who speaks about AI and the impact of AI a lot. He's actually been a real voice on AI, like just in the music industry and just in general. But I've
Okay.
been reading that he's actually using AI to try to write, I guess they're trying to write Mamma Mia 3. He may or may not be trying to write more ABBA songs, which is mind blowing because they're old enough to be like my parents. But you know, they're people like that are even like using AI, and I guess they're using it to kind of get ideas for songs. So they're not relying on it. You can people who are listening, or you, Amory, can look this up if you want to maybe I'm not getting it 100% clear, but I think they're just using it not to write the songs or the material, but to get ideas, almost like an interaction that they're having with it.
Yeah.
And it almost sounds like that's kind of like one of the primary ways that you gotta use AI is to use it as like a writing partner or a
Mm.
creative partner. And they're going to give you bad ideas, just like I will as a human being. You know, I have some good ideas, but I have some bad ones too. And I
Yeah.
think it's just a tool to kind of like stoke creativity.
100% agree with you. And the fact that someone from ABBA, the writer, I didn't understand exactly who it was, who is much older than just the younger generation, is using it, shows that you don't have any excuse, even if you're older or younger, to use it. And bouncing back ideas, that's very interesting. Maybe it's not here to do the final work, but it's more like uh, um, what do we say? A logical buddy with who you'll give ideas, and he'll tell you uh, this makes sense, this doesn't make sense. We have to be careful though, because I feel when you're using ChatGPT, it plays into the confirmation bias. Like it tells you what you want to hear a lot of the time instead of what you need to hear.
Yeah,
Probably because it's been programmed in order to create a connection with you, etc. That's in his prompts, but maybe putting him clearly, like, don't tell me what I want to hear, but tell me what I need to hear, will maybe be
exactly.
the next step towards a bit efficiency. Yeah.
No, I totally agree with that. And sometimes I feel like it's more the other way where they tell you things that you don't want to hear and it doesn't make sense. And there's a very frustrating element to it, which I think is why I've been a little resistant to it because I'm already very resourceful in what I
Mhm.
do in life, especially with like my business. Like this, as I tell a lot of people, this is like my baby, this show, this brand. You know, I'm a reflection of this brand. I don't necessarily want to rely on AI to tell the world what my brand is or to dictate how I do things or how I think. Uh, and sometimes if you feed it information, it gets it completely wrong. It's like, no, that's not the direction I want to go in. So I almost feel like there's a sense that I need to maintain as much control over the delegation of what I do as much as I can. But I definitely am curious and want to learn and want to get to a point where I can like have that quote unquote conversation with AI and kick things back and forth a little bit and maybe come up with something I wouldn't have thought of otherwise.
Interesting. Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
yeah, you're deep in thought there. So, if you have something
Yeah.
to say, I don't know if you have anything you want to fill in with that.
Well, the question would be like when, because the current state, like imagine you are here and you want to go here, the current state you are in will not be able to achieve this goal because you need to have mindset shifts, you need to think differently, you need to act differently. So if here AI tells you a certain thing that actually doesn't make you feel good, or it just doesn't make sense, maybe actually you should listen to it. Now I'm just playing around with ideas, I don't know the truth, but because you have to, change is not comfortable, so you have to change yourself in order to become this, and maybe what makes sense here won't make sense anymore here. So yeah, but that's interesting that actually for your AI, maybe we have different chat GPT models, like so when you choose the models, some are friendly, some are competent, some are
Maybe
some tell you what you want to hear, some are
it,
hypocrites, I don't know.
it's also possible that I don't know what the hell I'm doing, which is entirely possible, which is why, again, I know I had a guess on this show a few months ago who just off line was like, yeah, we should get together. They know and feel confident with like Chat GPT. So I still need to like kind of meet up with them, and maybe they can show me where I might be lacking in understanding. But that's just been my experience. I mean, how about you? I know that your focus is on fashion, sustainability, and those are like your niches, but you broach this topic, so I'm curious to know if like how you're incorporating AI, how it's helping you, or if it's helping you at all with your brand.
Yeah, well, to give a bit of context to the audience, what as I said in the beginning, I help baby fashion brands plant a tree for every product sold, and I'm creating the Shopify plugin that facilitates the connection between the tree planting NGOs and the baby fashion brands, and I'll do the communication, etc. The and basically the reason why that's important today is Mother Earth needs us. We need to respect her, and it makes a lot of sense between business and also environment when you plant a tree for every product sold. For the business, they'll be happy because the parent who buys from the baby fashion brand, that's why I'm niched down into baby fashion, because the parent wants to create a future that's sustainable, that's happy for their baby. So they would probably buy or choose the brands that plant trees, and they would either buy more products, which is good because it will plant more trees. And on the environmental side, it's not only a question of carbon reduced or carbon absorbed from the atmosphere, it's ecosystems restored for bees, animals, fruits, and just the air we are literally breathing. That's a real ecosystem. Like if you go into nature without your phone, you'll realize how, even if the tree isn't moving, how alive it actually is. And but it still also has a sense in carbon. Like you, a product, a baby fashion onesie, let's say, produces in between 5 to 8.5 kilograms of CO2. Okay, over the production and the uses of materials and chemicals to all of the parents washing it and throwing it into the landfills. Okay, and a tree, one tree planted over 40 years absorbs up to 1 ton of CO2 from the atmosphere. And that's obviously a long-term gain. But making that would create a positive impact and actually make a better world compared to a lot of CSR reports or certifications, where it's only a question of minimizing impact instead of making a positive impact. And where I use AI and all of that, it's probably an assistant in bouncing back ideas, as we talked, and creating content for a certain public. So I'm creating a personal brand as well, YouTube and Instagram and LinkedIn. But it's bouncing back ideas, creating emails, asking him for criticism, honest criticism about a certain belief or stuff like that. Yeah.
So one thing that I love about doing this show, especially here of late, is
Mhm.
I feel like this has been filled with surprises this year because I do my due diligence before I do an episode. As you know, that's one of the reasons why we got held back a week because I was so into watching your content. It caused that audio issue. Uh, but coming into this episode, I'm like, okay, this guy very passionate about sustainability, ties into fashion brands, and I'm thinking, I'm looking at all the material that I have, and especially what you laid down on Podmatch, and I'm like, I know exactly what I'm getting myself into. And then you bring up the topic of AI, and I'm like, this is interesting. I wonder where this is going. And after having this conversation and then hearing you talk a little more about how it ties in to your brand, it just really blows my mind. Just the unknowns of
Yeah.
doing an episode, and just, boy, I really, you always feel like you're really prepared, and you really feel like you know what you're getting yourself into. And with, I'm not saying this because I regret that this topic came up. I'm actually really, I'm pleasantly surprised. And again, I
You
think
know
I need to.
how surprising it can be. Excuse me for interrupting. How
Sure.
surprising it can be, and how much you can learn by just asking questions. That's probably the the best thing we can all do. Shut the frick up and listen, like, and or ask questions like you are doing, I'm doing, and that's how we learn. Like we have two ears and one mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we can as we talk. Um, yeah, people, again, back to the educational system. It's they teach you just to um, answer, not actually ask questions or have real conversations, which limits, our learning. That's again another subject.
No, I mean, and that's obviously something that you're also very passionate about. And that's something that I've been hearing from time to time on this show. I feel like I had a guest recently where we kind of talked about the same thing. Matter of fact, I think it was another Gen Z person, if I'm remembering right, who also kind of had the same kind of thought process. And I mean, do you feel like topics like entrepreneurship and how to be resourceful, do you think those kind of things should be taught in school? Do you think it's even possible?
Amazing. I love the question. And to transition from the AI subject to the school system, why do people continue going to school when you can respond to 99% of the questions with ChatGPT? And whether we yeah, whether we should continue going to or teach entrepreneurship, resourcefulness in school, even sales, these kind of things, is, well, it depends what they want to make out of society, whether they want thinkers or soldiers. But society doesn't need as many thinkers. People who are listening to this podcast, they are thinkers. They think differently, they act differently. But still, society, let's call it the matrix, wants people who do their jobs well, who pay taxes, and shut up. That's probably the main thing. And if and if we would teach them real valuable skills like sales, negotiation, entrepreneurship, resourcefulness, blaming yourself, they would have too much power. They would realize that they don't need to ask authority in order to do the actions, and they wouldn't respect the big boss of the matrix anymore. They would be like, well, no, why would I do that for you? I'm independent now. So, but rebouncing on that, on playing devil's advocate, we still absolutely need road workers. Those are these jobs that are not associated with status, that should absolutely be rewarded with mega status, because everyone needs roads, everyone needs to eat, everyone needs food from the farms. Like, bless those people, and I hope they get the recognition they actually should have, compared to this is a we entertained this conversation with a few friends, like girls today, especially my generation. They're like, well, I want a man who's making, I don't know how much money. And okay, but what are you doing? Like, posting selfies? What are you doing? Where
Okay.
where a real, like a real actual value comes from building roads, etc.
Well,
That's a
let
kind of
me,
diversion there.
no, that was a good diversion. Let me just fill in with an experience that I had.
Yeah,
I
sure.
dated somebody a few years back who uh, basically, after a period of time, now I've been working in television, and it's not, unless you reach certain areas of the business, it's not exactly what I would call like, you're not gonna be a baller as far as like your paycheck or anything like that. And especially back then, like it was like 17-ish years ago. I'm just getting my career going. But they asked me at one point, they were like, when are you gonna get like another job? When are you gonna do X, Y, and Z? And I was like, whoa, that's like, this isn't even somebody that I'm married to or anything. We're just dating. I'm like,
Mm.
you know, just filling that in there. I don't know how relevant this is to the show at all, but just filling that in because I heard you say that. And I'm like, boy, some you're talking about your generation, but some things never change. So it's not just affecting your age group
we,
or generation.
but we have to
It's
be careful, not like, yeah, I totally agree with you, and with who we um align, or with who we go as friendship or as a spouse, etc., really dictate our lives.
yeah,
But there's a problem speaking about algorithms a bit, AI algorithms. It's a shame that the algorithm pushes for men that women are the problem, and for a woman that the men are the problem, where in fact we should be together, because
right.
neither of us are the problem. The algorithm is actually the problem. And the best we are the most happy, we're probably the most productive. um, Testosterone is up, etc. That's when we're with a woman. So, and obviously competitive friends, but that's another subject.
Yeah, I love that it took that direction here. We're actually getting a little short on time, so I want to try to give you an opportunity to talk a little bit about your brand. So, where you're off to a really good start, you're doing really good things, and I think you have a great mindset. I think you have a great mission. Where else do you see your brand and just what you're doing as an entrepreneur? Where do you see all this going in the future?
Hmm,
Or do
hmm.
you know?
Yeah, I have a vision. I have a vision.
Okay, let's hear it.
I really want to see harmful fashion turn into a force for good. And those seem simple words, but what's behind it, it's even more interesting. But it's and I see this not in 2 years, 3 years. I see this over generations. Billionaires, whether we like them or not, one thing they're good at is thinking long term. They think not in 10 years, they don't think in, they think in hundreds of years, they think in generational years. And even though right now I'm not getting the results I want, I'm still going to continue to perform. I'm still going to be resourceful, find the money to create the Shopify plugin. That's where I kind of am. Um, Reach out to all of these brands, create my personal brand in order to get inbound leads. Inbound leads are basically clients that could directly contact you instead of you contacting them. If I understand correctly, maybe I'm going to look back at this and I'm going, no, that's not exactly that, but whatever. Yeah, turning harmful fashion into a force for good. That's what I want to do.
Well, we definitely need more people like you out there. So, yes, flexing and
Yeah, man.
everything. I love your attitude. I think we definitely need, so just going back to the whole idea of teaching entrepreneurship and just that whole mindset. I think some of the traits that you and I have, I think they're actually, while I do think some form of it should be like available for people to like learn, there's a lot that goes into entrepreneurship that can't be taught, I think. And just all those instincts and just the drive and the reason you're doing it, the motivation. And I think you personally have a lot of things that are motivating you to do what you do that I don't have. I have completely different motivations and reasons, and I think people like each one of us are needed in this
Absolutely.
fraternity of entrepreneurship. But I think what you are doing, the mindset and just what you're trying to accomplish, for me, at least from where I'm sitting, can only be respected and supported. I could never just be like, I'm going to do exactly what Amory is
Shouldn't.
doing because I couldn't
Shouldn't.
could never.
You,
I mean,
you would
you
probably
already
be overwhelmed with your head as well. So
and you already have a huge advantage by being so smart and wise, and you're not even 20 years old yet. So you're a lot further along than I was, and I guess we all have our own journey, which is one of the reasons I love doing this show. But
yeah,
Amori, I appreciate you being on this show and taking time out of your day.
thank
You
you.
wouldn't mind just telling everybody how we can learn more about you, how people can find you, work with you, anything that you want to add. This is your time to do it.
All right. Well, I also want to say, Mark, about we were talking about missions, and then I'll tell you where you can find me. Don't worry. Probably tap in my name somewhere, find it. But um, like your mission to show people that even with disadvantages, you should do what you want is your mission, and my mission is my mission, and everyone has their different missions in society and life, and one cannot be another. So you, we all have our different purposes, and that's respectable. Yeah, if you guys want to, I'm journaling my way, so doing some short videos, some long videos on social media, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram. You can see my complicated name, Csiky Alvarez. You can tap it in, and probably if you want to connect with me, that would be best through LinkedIn. And if you just want to look at, be part of the journey, on YouTube would probably be ideal. Yeah,
Yeah, I definitely highly recommend Amori's
thank you.
YouTube page. You're doing a hell of a job all around, but definitely keep making content. You're making great content. You
Thank you,
have
man.
a
Appreciate
lot
that.
of intelligence, and we need to hear from you. So keep on doing your thing. I had an amazing time talking to you. I'm glad we finally
Yeah,
got
very, very
this in
interesting.
got over the technical difficulties and made it work. Uh, Amory Csiky Alvarez, thank you for being on Mark My Words. I am Mark Schmidt, your host, and I will be back. Well, probably not flexing like this, but I will be back next time with another episode and
Subscribe to
another.
this channel. This is great questions and lovely conversations.
I appreciate you. Yeah, likewise. Subscribe. There's my finger right there. Subscribe. Rory. All right. Thank you. We're
Thank you
out.
for having me.
Have a great day. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day to go on a journey with me into entrepreneurship and life on Mark My Words. If you would like to learn more about me and the show, you can find me on LinkedIn at Mark Schmidt or connect with me on Instagram at Nimrod79. Video episodes of Mark My Words, as well as other content, can also be found on the Mark My Words YouTube page. Entrepreneurship can be quite the roller coaster ride. It can be a bit isolating and intimidating, but it doesn't have to be that way. Let's meet here next time at the crossroads on another episode of Mark My Words.